we stopped last week. But before we get into that, let me just quickly, catch up. So, how has our week been, and what challenges have we faced regarding career track? Let's start with Miracle Roots. Are you the Miracle? Okay. How about you, Solomon? Did you get the question? I'm not getting a response. Are you there, Solomon? Okay. If I am still audible on your end, please drop an emoji so I'm sure that everyone is hearing me. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. So my question, like I said, was have there been any challenge with your career track during the week? Um, that's what I'm asking. That's the question. Should I be calling names? Deborah, Mercy, Holda, Benedict, Solomon, Josiah. Okay, Deborah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, concerning my career track, I didn't encounter any issue, but I discover I don't really know how to apply them. Like when solving it or when trying to carry out the exercises, it looks simpler. But when I see questions or when I'm asked to do something different from that, I find it a kind of difficult.
All right. Thank you so much for your feedback, Deborah. Who else has something similar or another input as regards the things you experience this week while using your course? While using your course, yes, taking your courses. Okay, Solomon. Yeah, Solomon, you can speak. I can hear you. I can see your hand. You can speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Solomon. I can hear you now.
Okay, all right, sir. My own is not challenges pertaining the career track itself. My question was like this SQL, like how we can use it effectively on our own without being on data camp, like maybe on the system when we have questions, the application in real world, like not just the data camp itself, how we can use it. That's just my question.
Thank you so much, Solomon, for your question. Let's take one more before we move on. Any other one? Okay, Solomon, I can still see your hand. Solomon, I can still see your hand. If you're raising your hand, please speak. Okay, I guess it's not raising his hand then. Okay, so I'll take it that there is no other question. And so, Deborah was talking about one of the, I think, one of the, I'll say the most common problems that every data analyst in SQL will go through, and that is the issue of having to easily pass through your practice questions, but when you want to apply it realistically with another question, you kind of lose your way, right? So we're going to, in the course of our classes, where that's going to be sorted out actually, because the better you understand something, the more you can apply it, and so that's the whole essence of these classes, so that we can have an in-depth understanding of the things that we've learned on data camp ourselves, right? Then to Solomon's question is, if I want to use this, if I want to practice with SQL outside of data camp. What do I do? And I think Solomon was around for last class. I can't remember now. I think so. And then that platform we use called DataLab. DataLab is, even though it's owned by DataCamp and is integrated with DataCamp, is separate from DataCamp. So DataLab is where you go to practice SQL querying techniques and solve problems, analytical problems. So, what you would do is to go to datacamp.com /data lab, and you would have the interface like we did last class, and then you would answer that. But apart from that, there are also other platforms to use, to which I'll give you infos on that before the class ends. All right, Holder, I can see your hand. Please ask a question.
So are you trying to say that, sorry, good evening. So are you trying to say that the practice that we do on Data Lab, that's when we use Data Lab, we can put it up like in a portfolio or whatever? Because I think maybe the reason why he's asking, which is also something that I am interested in, is that we can also probably put it in a portfolio, GitHub, whatever, to show what we have done, right? So is that possible with Data Lab?
Yes, thank you for your question, Holder. So yes, it is possible. But in um, I don't know how other portfolio work system works. So what I use Data Lab, but the way Data Lab works is that you send a link. So they click on that link and then it refers them back to a dashboard, the same one you see on your screen when you're using Data Lab. The only difference is they can't edit anything there. They can only view. So they can see all that you want them to see within the workbook, because the link you are sharing is not your entire Data Lab access. Like, so they can't see other workbooks. They can only see that workbook. So every cell in the workbook will be visible to whoever has that link or whoever access was granted to that workbook. So that's how Data Lab works. So if you have a platform um, wherein you create a, let's say, UI UX kind of dashboard, and then if you click on it, it's going to direct you somewhere else. Then you could put the link, your workbook link, as the redirection link. Do you get? It's going to redirect them back to your workbook. So that's how Data Lab works. So, but then that about Data Lab. There are other platforms too. I think Mr. Divine is going to take you guys on that sometimes during the week. So, but would have to come to a conclusion on when we want that class to hold. So, yes, that's. Do you understand the response, Holder?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Solomon, I see your hand is still up. Is that intentional or is a mistake? You have a question. If you have a question, please ask. Okay. So, okay, hands down now. Thank you. So, next thing is I dropped on the Discord channel that we should sign in with our laptops. Who is on here right now with their laptop? Please leave an emoji. All right. So, what we're going to do now is one of us is going to sign in to DataLab and share their screen, right? And everyone, just the way we did last time, is going to attempt um, questions with data on DataLab. Is that fine? Do we understand what I just said? Okay, okay. So please, guys, thank you, Benedict. Thank you, Holder. Please, guys, you have to be responding. So I know that we are following, right? Because we are this is a virtual class, and so there are certain things that would would mark for attention. Do you understand? So when questions are asked, there should be responses, there should be reactions, emojis. So I know that okay, yes, you are following. Oh, there's a question I don't understand. You know, there's that interactiveness, right? So let's move on. Um, so who would volunteer to share their screen with us today? Okay, Holder. Thank you so much. So um, I think that that's a yes. And if that's a yes, please share your screen. If you have a question, then ask the question. But if that's a yes, share your screen. Okay. Um, thank you. So please open DataLab on one of your desktop, of your tab rather.
Did I make a mistake?
No, that's fine. It's not a mistake. That's fine.
Right. / data lab.
Yes.
Uh, what to
So
just
sign in.
like that?
No, no. So like I said, Am I audible now? Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. I don't know what drama came up. Yes. Hold up, please. Let's proceed. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. Please hold up. Let's proceed. Can you share your screen now? Okay. So last I remember, you were seeing that you were not signed in automatically, and I was trying to explain why that was. So that was because um, you were not currently signed into data cam on another tab within the same Chrome window. So what that means is this entire Chrome window we are looking at now, if datacamp.com was signed in another tab, when you open DataLab in another tab, it automatically signs you in, and you don't have to come through all this process of trying to sign in again. That's just the difference. So, like I said, it's integrated with Data Labs. Um, so, thank you. Now, let's create a new workbook. So to do that, I guess we know how to do that. So let's okay. So we are processing. So that is clicking on new workbook.
It's taking so long.
That's all right. So now we can see our new workbook. So let's click on SQL from the drop down list at the middle of the screen. Thank you. So now you have a cell, right? So we click on select data.
You mean this select data source?
Yes, select data source. So now we can see this interface, and what this interface is showing us is a search bar where we can search for data that is already in our data lab, and where we can connect new data source right to the right, where we can connect our data lab directly either to a Google Sheet, a what's this called now, is it Jupyter Notebook also, a PG admin, so different snowflakes also you can connect directly to it. But what we want to do is just quickly use a sample data, right? So let's just use ticket sales, the one we can see here on Holda's screen. So click on select data, select rather, not select, select. Thank you. So now, what you are seeing, why this popped out like this, is because you are using DataLab. DataLab has an automatic AI feature that kind of makes work easier. So that's why you have code automatically typed, query automatically typed here, and then you have a result. It's because the system typed in that query and then ran the query. And what is this query? So let me ask a question to Mercy. Mercy, can you explain what this query is for? This query we're looking on our screen, looking at on the screen. Um, Hold on, you have to go back to yes, thank you. Mercy, can you explain to us what this query is for? Do you know?
So the query is to select all the data, but limits to 5.
Okay, so what is the intention of such query?
So
Like
I don't
why?
understand.
Okay, why would a data analyst run this particular query? Because it's very common. Well, why do we do this particular query?
To shorten it.
Amazing. All right. So who wants to, so thank you for your first answer. Your first answer was very correct. So who wants to answer that question? Why do we run this particular query? Okay, Shay.
I guess it's because you want to see the fields that you're working with.
Okay, are you guessing or are you sure?
The two both of them.
Amazing. All right. Thank you, Shehi. So let's also try Shehu Kaba. Shehu, yes. Yeah, Shehu, you can respond. If you are speaking, your mic is mute. We can't hear you. Okay. Uzoma, can you answer?
It's so that you can pick the from the events. You want to know what the top five events are.
You want to know what the top five events are. Amazing. Okay. I'm having some interesting responses. Thank you, Uzoma.
Or you want the events, but limit it to only five of those events. But I believe it's the top five.
You believe it's the top five. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Before I make an assumption, when you say top five, what exactly do you mean?
Sorry.
When you say top five, what exactly do you mean?
No, so you're saying select all from events. So from all the
Yeah.
events, you want to select all of them. They limit it to only five. So it's not a random five. Maybe just pick five of those events. That's what it means by limited to five. Because the events might be,
Okay.
that you have in data might be more than five, but for now you just need only just five of them. So my understanding is that it's not a random five. So maybe like the top five events that had maybe the highest revenue. I don't know, but that's what I think.
Okay. Okay. I'm getting interesting answers. Let's take one more answer. Thank you, Uzoma. Shehu, your hands was up, and I think you tried talking. Okay. So I think someone's mic is on mute. Solomon. Solomon. Okay.
Okay, all right, sir. So my own perspective, I think why we limit it to five is to see the first five data and know the type of data that we are working with, so that you can visualize that. Okay, with this first five, you can know the rest of the information that are there, and you know how to work with them.
Hmm. That answer had a lot of loopholes inside. But the first one I would ask again is, you think or you are sure? Did you get that, Solomon? Okay, so let's just move along, right? So the point is, she was right, but she was not sure. She was right, actually. So
Is it just me or did something happen to you to the voice? Right. Okay.
I think his network threw him off.
No problem. Thank you.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Ah, this is so
Yes.
amazing. Omo, this network.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You're audible now, sir.
Thank you. So, I'm having serious network issues, and I don't know how this is going to last. But let's just quickly do what we can, right? Um, so what I was talking about something before. Yes, the columns. Um, so she said that when we do that kind of code, yeah, Imam, you can share your screen again. So she was saying that when we do that because we want to see the columns that we are working with, and they were limiting the result to 5, right? And so I think that was Uzoma. So Uzoma said something, and then she said the top 5. So the top 5 is different from limiting to 5, and that was why I was trying to be careful so that I was understood what she was trying to say. So picking top 5, Uzoma, is not random, like you said. It's not randomly picking 5, but it's also not the top 5, like let's say the top highest or something. No, what limiting to 5 just means is that this code I have run, or this query I have made, yeah, um, this query that I've made, how do I put this now? I want to limit the results to 5. So limiting to 5, like we did last week, does not affect your querying or the querying process. It only affects the results. It only affects the results, right? So it means that even if I made a count, I was to count the entire records in my role and I limit it to 2. It only show me one response, which is the number of the records in my role. It does not change anything in your querying process. It only changes how many records would show, right? So I'll give another example so that we can move on. If I were to count if I were to make a query, right, that the results was going to give me 20 records. So let's say richest companies in the world, and I have database, and my metric for determining that a company is rich was $5 billion, right? So if I run that kind of query to say where, let's say, revenue equals $5 billion, right? And I ran that query, and the response that came, or the query result that came, was a list of about 50 of them, right? If at the end of my query I wrote limit to 20, limit 20, what will happen is that it's just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 up to 20 and stop showing from there. It does not mean that it's going to try to do the top. I don't know if I'm saying it doesn't affect your query process itself. It just affects what is being shown, not what is queried. So that is the idea on it.
It happened again, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I had that moment again. I think there was a question. Oh, I cannot see the question. Someone asked the question. I can't see the question again. Um, from the first table on the first on the table. Okay, so I think there's a conversation in the chat. Can someone make it up to scratch? I didn't get, so I can answer that. I guess is what I was saying.
So I feel he's asking that, is it from like the limit, is it highest to lowest or like lowest or just, I feel that was his
No.
question.
Okay, so like for example, what we just asked is to say that the limit is affecting the query. Like I said, it's not affecting your query. So it's like you have okay, okay. Let me give an example. If I tell you that go to a crate of egg, yeah, and get me the good ones in the egg, right? The crate of egg, and you brought 15, and I said, oh, give me only 10. That's what limit is. Limit does not determine the good egg. Limit just tells you how many of it you want. So the querying, every other thing you do is the querying process. Oh, from this, select this, where this is that, group by that and that, right? All that are the querying process. What limit does is that after that process has run successfully, it now determines how many of it you want to see. So the idea of ascending to descending or descending to ascending, that is in your query. So you do that in your order by. So I order by, let's say I have a query about salaries and I want to order it by the highest salary to the lowest salary. So I'll say order by the column name salary descending. Descending would mean that highest, that's the biggest amount, to the lowest amount, right? So that's what order by does, not limits. So limit does not affect your what's this called now? Limit does not affect your querying process. It only determines what you see. Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's quickly move on. Hold up, please share your screen again. So we want to check this table. Now we have a table from ticket sales. we're waiting for Holda to share. Okay. We have a table from ticket sales that selects all the columns, and from a table called events, and we're limiting our result to 5, right? So it's very possible that this ticket sales has God knows how many rows. If we want to know how many rows it has, we have to remove the limit 5. But let's just stay with this for now. So our intent is to know what data is in this. So what kind of columns and what kind of data we're working with. So we have event ID, we have venue ID, we have, if I'm correct, cat ID, that's category ID, and we have date ID, we have event name and start time, right? So what else was I trying to say? Yes, so this data is part of a relational database, right? This data is not on its own, and that's why you have things like venue ID and event ID in one table. Why? Because it's a relation to another table. There's probably a table called venue, and there's a table called category, right? And so that's why you have event ID, venue ID here, and cat ID here. Now I want to ask a question. Who can tell me what what is the relationship with this column? So let me put it this way. Who can tell me what the relationship with the venue ID to venue ID in the venue table? Who can describe what it is? Because that's what data analytics is. You have to understand data, right? So who can describe the relationship between this cell here, this column here, not charts, Imam. Yes, thank you. The venue ID column here in the event table and the venue ID column in the venue table. What is the relationship between those two columns? Which, or let me put it this way, which is the primary, which is the foreign? Chioma?
The venue ID in this table is the foreign key. I mean, yeah, the foreign key. Why the venue ID on the venue table is the primary key.
Okay, thank you. So that's very simple. So same thing. Thank you very much, Emma. So same thing too with cart ID. Cart ID is a foreign table, and same thing in the for the primary key. Sorry, foreign key here. The foreign key here, and then the primary key in the category table. Right. So let's quickly try a what's it called now? A query. So we want to find out, because of time and because of accessibility, we're just going to work with this table for now. I know that by next week we should probably be working on joins, and I know that's where the real drama starts to happen. So amazing. I saw I did not understand what you said. Okay, Messi, what do you not understand?
So the foreign table and primary table, I don't understand what you said though.
Okay, yes, I corrected myself. It's not table, it's key. Foreign key and primary key. So primary key is a unique identifier of a table. So I'll give an example. When you're in the university and there is a table that contains students and their matric number, your matric number, your matriculation number is the primary key of that table. Why? Because not two people share a matriculation number. Do you get? Every person has a matriculation number. You now, someone else in your class can be Mercy. In fact, if you're not careful, someone else can have your name and your surname in your class, but the matric number will be different, right? So, um, that is the primary key. It is a unique identifier of that table. Now, if we also have, let's see, library. Thank you. So if we have library, is a table on library, right? So books borrowed, right? And on the library table, instead of putting people's name, the school decided to put matric number to identify the students, right? Now, it is possible, Mercy, that you went to library 5 times in one semester, right? Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you went to library 5 times in a semester, it means that your matric number will appear 5 times in that library table. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you say that your matric number is a unique identifier of that table?
Yes, sir. So I have a question.
Did you get why I asked?
No, sir, I don't understand.
Okay, I'm saying that you have two tables. One table is for the classroom, the other table is for the library. In the classroom table, right, there is a column that carries matriculation number, matric number 1, matric number 2, matric number 3, up to 200, right? For each matric number, a student is attached, right? Now, on this student table or this classroom table, we know that no two students can share the same matric number, right? Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means the matriculation column in this classroom table is a primary key because it identifies a single person. It is not repeated. There is no matric. You can never see matric number 1, matric number 2, matric number 2 again. No, it's always going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even if you scatter it, right? No matric number will repeat itself in the classroom table. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, in the library table, so let's assume that students from the class goes to borrow book in the library, right? What that would mean is that the library would have a record, a spreadsheet to keep the record of people that borrowed books, the name of the book they borrowed, what day did they borrow the book, when are they supposed to return it. Do you understand? Do you understand, Mercy? Mercy, are you there? I need to know that you are following. Are you there? She's still on the call. I think. Oh, amazing.
I think she
Um.
left. Oh,
Okay, amazing. Okay, let me just explain it because of others that might also need to understand it properly. So on the library table, you have those columns there to identify different data that the librarian needs for his work. So, but the librarian used the matriculation number of the student to track who borrowed what book, when did they borrow that book. So instead of writing Emmanuel there, they just put matric number 105, right? So, but I could have gone to the library that semester 5 times to borrow a book. It means that if you go to the record, you will see 105 5 times scattered around or even following themselves, depending on how the record is, right? What that would mean is that matriculation number is a foreign key in the library table, but it's a primary key in the classroom table. That's the difference between primary and foreign keys, right? Okay, so let's quickly do this. So you have event ID, venue ID, date ID, event name, right? Start time. Okay, so let's query.
We can't hear again now.
His network has gone off again.
Does this end the class? Benedict, do you have any information, please?
I'm still trying to reach him. I think his network is really bad. I think we should hold on.
Amazing. Hello guys. I don't even know. My story has gone so much. Um, network. I don't know. This is crazy. I feel so terrible. But well, I would ensure that this does not happen and repeat itself ever again. So please, let's just so that this doesn't spoil our learning today. Let's just try to catch up everything. Um, we can get our questions that we do not understand to Benedict, and your class rep, and he's going to communicate that to me, and I would answer them properly. I would give myself to a one-on-one this week. So as much as needs answers to questions, please feel free to reach out. Right. Okay. So Holder, our presenter, please, can you continue presenting? Also, thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. It is really, really amazing. I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. Thank you, Holder. So, like was saying, so we want to run this table, and we want to ensure that we try to maximize what we can within the context of this table or of this data set that we have. So we have event ID, venue ID, category ID, data ID, and event name, start time. So the first thing I want us to do is to count. And to count is an aggregate function. So let's count how many records we have. Um, I'm going to ask Onyinyechi to attempt that query. So Onyinyechi, what do we do? Hold up, please. They're going to be our previously. They're going to be our hands to query. So what do we do to count all the records or all the rows? So rows and records are the same thing. Fields and columns are the same thing. So what do we do to count all the records in this table, Onyinyechi? And also, please, if I call your name and you have not gotten to that part of that part in your career track on data camp, please notify. Please say that, oh, I have not attempted this before, right? Then so that we don't make assumptions. Onyechi, I'm still waiting. We're still waiting for you. Okay, so let's move to Jeremiah. Jeremiah. Right? Are we here? We're just on the call. Emmanuel. I'm seeing an Emmanuel. Emmanuel, my namesake. So what do we do to count the number of records in this data?
Good evening. I'm just joining, trying to understand what's going on.
Okay, where are you on your career track? Was that Adebiyi
I'm
that
in
spoke?
SQL. SQL.
Okay, yes.
This is
So
Adebiyi.
SQL, yes. What chapter, what course are you? Are you in introduction to SQL, intermediate SQL, data joining, data manipulation? Where are you?
I'm in data joining,
Oh,
actually.
beautiful. So tell us, how can we count the number of records in this data set? What do we do? Holder, please scroll up to the query cell. Thank you. So what do we do, Adebiyi?
We can use the count function.
Okay, so how is that going to be done? Please, Holder, can you clear off everything in that cell? Delete all the clauses and all the variables and everything. Thank you. Thank you. Now, please, Adebiyi, proceed. What does Holder type?
Okay, I'm not sure. I don't actually understand the data set yet, but I know that we can start with select.
All
If
right.
we're selecting all, we can use select asterisk.
Yes, but now we want to count all. So what do we do?
Yeah, we use asterisk select.
Select. Okay.
Select
Then what's next? After select is what?
asterisk. Select
Asterisk.
all.
Okay. What else should do next?
From.
Okay.
Use from.
From.
That's
the table name. So the table name is event.
Yeah, so the type of table name.
Okay. Next.
Let's celebrate.
So how do we count?
Then I think we're meant to use the count in the select statement.
Yes. So how do we do that?
So we put the count before the asterisk and put the asterisk in parentheses. I guess if
yes. Thank you. So parenthesis, bracket, yes, asterisk. Thank you. So now, Holder, please, can you run this query? Okay. So what do we have? We have 8,798, right? So just to make everyone on the same page, right? Thank God that it is Holder that is doing this today, right? So that we're on the same page with the word, with the clause limit. Holder, please, can you add another line after event, after the from clause? Yes. Enter, and then limit to 5. So remember that our result value is 8798. Now run this query, Holder. Do we see that? It's the same. 8798. Do we get it? So limit does not interfere with your querying process. It only limits how many of the records are returned. So our query originally was going to return only one row or one record. So limit 5 does not affect it at all. So if it's like I'm saying that, how do I put this now? If I say, okay, let's use the egg example, right? If I say go get me 5 good eggs, and you got there, and it was only 3 that was there, right? So my 5 does not change the fact that it's 3 eggs that is good that is there. It's the same thing too. You have one record returned in your counts, right? And you want to limit to 5. It does not change anything, right? So now we're going to make an edit to this query. Continue from where we stopped last week. We're going to group by, right? So I'm going to call, thank you, Adebiyi. Thank you so much. I'm going to call on Liberty to tell us if we want to group by category ID. Please remember that category ID is CAT ID, CAT ID, together, one word. So if we want to group by category ID, no, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said this way. if we want to group by category, how are we going to achieve that? Liberty. Is Liberty on this call? So I'm going to be moving quite fast. Let's try Chinasa. Chinasa, I see you. So what do we do? I suddenly cannot see Chinasa again. Amazing. Vivian. Okay, I see Chinasa. Okay. Vivian, what do we do to categorize this data by category? That means we want to count how many events per category. We want to know the number of events per category. What
Yes,
do we do?
sorry, I got a call and my network got interrupted. I'm here.
Oh, all right, Chinasa. Thank you. So what do we do? Do you understand the question?
Can I get the question again?
Okay, can you see the screen that Holda is sharing from your end?
Yes.
Okay, so from this screen you are seeing, you can understand that we are counting. Holda, please remove the limit 5. We don't need it anymore. Thank you so much. So you can understand that we counted the number of records in this table. Now, logically speaking, in context, this is an event table. So we can safely say the number of events that is recorded in this table, right? So now there's also a column in the table when we saw initially called category ID. Because of the what we know by relational database, category ID is a foreign key from the category table, right? So that means that ID you are seeing represents a category. We can't know that category yet until we do a data join. So I'm not asking you to do that. What I'm asking you to do is to categorize our counts by, or the events by the category. Can you do that, or do I explain myself again?
If I understand your question, I think we'll do group by cat ID.
Okay, so where do we put
below
our
the
group by?
from events.
Below the from clause. Thank you. Imam, please can you do that? Group by. Thank you. Group by cat ID. So would you deem this query correct? Okay, Ashimi said no. Chinasa, do you think this query is correct?
I'm not sure.
All right, so that's a good trial. Thank you so much. Ashimi, can you tell us what we need to do to make this correct?
We need to after the cat, there's supposed to be an underscore before the ID.
Underscore before the ID. Are we sure? Okay, so for us to be sure, please, Imam, can you run another cell below this cell? Yes, thank you. SQL. Thank you. Now, in your just right, yes, just want to show us okay, so like we see here, cat ID is CAT ID, right? So there is no underscore, because if we had done an underscore, there will be an error because it does not exist. So let's, thank you. Does anyone have an input to what Chinasa gave us, the query? Because there's an error in that query. Can you scroll up, Imam, so we can see the initial query? Mercy.
sir, I feel you should to select cat ID too. Comma.
Okay, so thank you. So how does Imam do that? What do we need to do?
After the count, you put comma, then cat ID.
After the count. Okay, let's try that and see. Please run. Although I know what's going to happen, but please run. Right. So who can tell me why this worked? Because I know that what we are used to is you have to put your single first and then the aggregates after, right? But this one worked. Why? Does anyone have an idea? Okay. So it's because
Probably there's a
okay,
relation between the cat ID and
and what?
some count in the table.
And some count in the table. I can't quite understand what you mean.
Like
Can you explain?
probably there is something that's more like a number count in the table.
Okay. So I'm still trying to understand why what you are saying, how it proves that this code should work. Because what we've been doing in our practice is that we have a column specified, then the aggregate follows later. So we have cat ID, comma, count, open brackets, asterisk, close brackets, or parentheses, right? But in this case now we have count, asterisk, and then cat ID, and then it worked. Why? Chinasa, sorry, wait, Chioma first. Show my hands first.
Because it was grouped by cat ID.
Because it was grouped by cat ID. Right, that's all right. Foba, thank you, Chema. Foba, okay. Foba, can you speak? Mercy, can you speak?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Okay, Foba is speaking. Okay, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, I was saying I think it's because so far as if it's not being aggregated, so far as in the group by statement, the query is going to run is just how it appears. The first one we put is going to appear first before the next field we put in the result.
Okay, so Foba give us a unique insight to that, which is it doesn't necessarily matter as long as it appears in the group by clause and it is in your select statement. It's always going to appear. It doesn't matter the order in which they come, and that is correct. That's the correct way to put it. So, what I have personally not tested with that theory is when you have multiple tables involved, sorry, multiple columns involved, and scattered in different order. Will it still work? And why do people put it the way they put it? But let's check our result and see something, right? Now, if you look at the results, you can see that you have count and then you have category ID. It looks harmless now, right? But when you actually start using the proper way, which is joining, which we're going to probably do by next week, you would now find out that it doesn't look proper. Not that the result is wrong, the result is right. But it doesn't make sense for me to say, show us employees and the salary they earn. And then the first thing I'm seeing is the salary first before the employee. It should have just been, okay. Can everyone hear me? Someone is saying they can't hear anything I'm saying.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. Miracle. So yes. So salary and employees, right? So it makes more sense, right, to have the salary, the employees first, then the salary on the right hand side of each employee, right? So that's kind of the normal system and structure. So that's how you want to do your query. Because we did the query count first and then cat ID next. our results will also follow that system. It doesn't change the way the process happens, almost similar to the limit, but it changes the way we see the results, right? So like the order in which it appears. Because if we put counts and parentheses asterisk after the cat ID, then on your results you're going to see cat ID first, then see your count. Simple, right? So let's try something else, right? Let's um now I do not know. I guess let's assume that we have one, two, three, four.
I can't hear again. Oh.
I think his network disconnected.
Hello. Okay. So I can see your hand up for bar. Is that a question?
No, sorry.
All right. All right. So Imam, please share your screen. Yes. So what I was saying was that so first of all, Imam, please on the query, order our results by category ID from ascending order, smallest to largest. Yes. So now we can see that we have 6, 7, 8, 9 in ascending order, right? And if we do this descending, it's going to be 9, 8, 7, 6. So um I was trying to do something. Yes. Okay. So why this is 4? Hold on, please. Yes. So this our query shows us that sorry. So from our what's this called now? From our query, we can find out that the only category we have here is 6, 7, 8, 9. There is no 1, there is no 2, there is no 3, there is no 4, no 5, right? Because what we did was to count all the records here and group them by category ID that is on our record, right? And so it's going to pick distinct of all the records and group every single event by those distinct records, right? So we have 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we don't have the full picture. We don't have all that database to understand why we don't have 1 to 5, right? So let's try something because we cannot do so much with this. Please scroll down. Thank you. So you can see that we have 9999666. Scroll up a bit so I can see the headers of the. All right. Okay. Let's try to work with venue ID instead. So please scroll up and please change cat ID to venue ID in all instances. Just copy and paste. All right. Continue. Just continue. Thank you. Thank you. So please run it. Oh, okay. This is much better. Please scroll down. So please scroll up. Let me ask a question. Seyi, can you explain the meaning of these results of the first 3 records? Can you explain what this means? If you were explaining it to an employer or a client, what does this first 3 records means? What do you think it means?
Sorry, sir, I didn't hear you.
Can you see what Imam is presenting? What Holda is presenting?
Yes.
Okay, so the first 3 records, the same thing as first 3 rows. Can you explain? If can you try to explain what you think it means, like interpreting the data we're looking at now? What do you think this means? We have count, and then we have venue ID. What do you think this means? Of the first 3
We
records.
were trying the in my understanding, the
Okay.
data that we are seeing
Okay.
means that we counted how many records are allocated to a particular venue ID because there are different venues, right? So we grouped some records according to the venue ID from highest to lowest. Hello?
Can you hear me? Shay?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, sorry, please. Can you repeat what you said again?
I said the query result is showing us the number of records allocated to each venue ID from
The number of
highest to
what?
lowest.
The number of what? I didn't get what the word you used there.
Records,
Number of
records,
records.
records
Oh, okay. Allocated to what?
allocated to each distinct venue ID.
Each distinct venue ID. Oh, that sounds very technical. All right. Thank you so much. Um. So, who has another idea as to what this would mean? Okay, so I'm just explaining it because of time and okay, Chioma and Olawale Miriam. Okay, let's go with Olawale. Olawale.
The result of
What?
the query is telling us the number of times the venue
Okay.
ID appeared. So this, the first query, the one for the venue ID, tells us that it appears 49 times in the data set.
49 times. Okay, but what does that mean, really? Remember that we are working with an event table, because you have to think in context also. You're working with a table from an event. So a table that keeps the record of event that was being that were that held rather at certain dates. What does that mean? Chioma.
Okay, so it's trying to tell us that for the venue one, which is a particular place, we
Yes.
use that particular place about 49 times, while for venue two, we used it 39 times, and for venue three, we used it 35 times. We made
Thank
use of
you.
that place 35 times.
Thank you. So, and thank you everyone also that attempted the question, right? So that's exactly how it is. It's what this data represents is to show you how many times an event or the events were held in that venue, right? So in venue one, like now, like we understand that we cannot understand, we can't know what venue one is because we have not joined the tables together. But for now, we just know that okay, there's a venue called venue one, venue two, venue three, right? And so for venue one, there were 49 events there. For venue two, there were 39 events. And for venue three, there were 35 events, right? So that's the understanding of how this works. So someone asked the question that I think I want to um, answer. That would be the last thing we'll attempt because of time. Let me hold on, please. Let me check. It's on the Discord channel, and I said I would talk about that also. Now, please, is there any question thus far before I answer that question? Okay, I see it now. Any question? Okay, Chema, please. Chema, please just
I wanted
continue.
to ask, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so instead of using count all, what if we had used count of the event ID? Are we still going to get the same correct answer? Because I think I've seen a few times where they didn't use count all, they just picked the primary ID and then they ran with it.
Okay, so why do we choose count all and count event ID? Practically, I will tell you that it is because of two problems. They're basically the same thing, but they appear in two different ways, and that is empty cells, right? So sometimes your data set may have null values. That means, however they sourced that data, some particular cell or a particular cell, any of the case, there is nothing in there, right? So if you were to count now in SQL, you have null value and you have empty string. If you were to count a null value, right, count would not count it. Why? Because when that data was populated, whenever that data was gotten, the let me say the method of getting that data, they had automatically assigned null where a candidate did not fill that form. So I'll make it practical. So let's assume that we collected biodata, right? Names, date of birth, address, and stuff like that. So if someone decided not to put their date of birth at all, and let me use phone number, or better still, let's use hobby. Someone decided not to put hobby in the form they were filling. Yeah. Now it depends on how that data was collected or the process of the processing the data processing method, right? Some processes, null value is assigned to a column, sorry, to a field, right? because on the form they're called fields. So to a field that you did not respond to, you didn't put answer there. Why in some data collection process, it is left blank. The problem, I won't say the problem, but the thing about SQL is that SQL handles two of them differently. Even though in essence it's still the same thing, no data is there, right? But SQL handle those two information separately. So SQL calls one null value and calls the other one empty string, right? So your question is, why are we using asterisk and um, not the column name directly? If we use column name directly, will it still give us the same answer? You can always check that. So in fact, that will easily show you if there is a null value. Apart from writing a query, because it's a query to write to show if there's a null value, but that will still show you if there is a null value, right? So now, if you count and there is a cell, there are cells that has null assigned to it, count will not count it. Count will just skip it. So if you have, let's say you have 5 names, Bola, Sunday, Null, Jackson, Stephanie, right? Those are 5 records, but there's null in the middle. When you do a count, it's going to return 4, number 4, meaning that it counted 4. But if you had Tunde, Bola, and then the next cell that is there, instead of null, you had empty. It's just empty there, right? And then you had Jackson, and then you have Stephanie. It's going to return 5 because it's going to count your empty string. So the more we progress into the class, we'll now begin to approach complex data sets, right? Wherein you have to first understand the data you have, not just by looking at the columns and knowing how many rows are there. You have to know if there are null values in your data. So why they use in your data set, why they use, in your practice, why they use the column name directly most times is because those cells are probably, like, it's very certain. And obviously it's a practice question. They already know that those cells are complete. It's just for you to test something. Maybe they want to test the count function. Maybe they want to test the subqueries, right? They are not interested in all that part yet. Do you understand the question? Do you understand my response? Okay.
Thank you.
So
I do.
yes, thank you. So lastly, it was something that someone brought up on the Discord channel, and the question was about subqueries, right? So the question was, she was like, she doesn't understand subquery inside that. The idea, for those out there still have not gotten there, you will get there, and I hope you quickly do actually, because you should have by now. So the idea of subqueries is you are running a query, you are creating let's call it a temporary query before your main query. That is what a subquery is. So for example, what we are looking at on this screen, on Holda screen, is a query that shows the count of all the records grouped by the venue ID, right? So let's assume that we wanted, I hope the person who asked questions is on the group chat, is on this call rather, so you can get the idea. So let's assume that we want to use this result we are seeing here, that is count. Topic 49, sorry, someone asked for so topic 49 can just be let's say basic and intermediate SQL. Just put it like that. So okay, hold on, I'm not seeing. Okay. Oh, I understand. So let's assume that we want to use count and we want to use venue, right? So once you use count, I want to use venue in as a query. How do I put this now? So let's say we want to I'm trying to see an example to give based on the data we're looking at. Mm, you have better with. Okay, hold on. You have a question.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that my battery is getting low. That if we can hurry up, it's 26%.
Oh, all right, all right, all right. We're almost done. We're almost done. Thank you. Okay. Can you go back to the tab? Okay, thank you. So, like I was saying, the idea of a subquery is a query that is inside another query, and you're doing that because you want to slow down the process, the time it takes to run, right? Because the longer your query is, the longer it takes to run. So a subquery kind of quickly solves that. It's the same thing too with CTE, common table expression. We are going to do that later on, right? But it's same ideology. But subquery makes it faster. It can also be dropped soon. It's on the group chat already. So that's the idea of a subquery. Now, where it is placed in your query statements is now the difference. Sometimes it is placed in the select, it is placed in the from, it is placed in the where. I can't talk about that now, but that's something that I will put down and explain properly. Right? So that's the idea of subquery. It's just a query inside your main query. And the idea of it is basically to save time. Like one of the benefits of subquery is to save time, right? There are other reasons why you do a subquery, but one of the benefits, not the reasons, the benefit of subquery is to save time. Another thing can be that it kind of limits error. So there's a way you can run a subquery that it kind of gives you a full proof that this query I ran, there is no problem inside. Especially with situations like our null values now we're talking about, where there's some strings empty and some is null. So kind of small errors that will kind of give you a wrong result. Because as an analyst, you must understand that your results is how will I put it now? Let's say life changing, or money is banked on it. Decisions are banked on it. Let me put it that way. Yeah. So a company wants to purchase another company, mergers and acquisition. The accuracy of your result determines whether that company is making the right decision or not. Is or one of the major determinants, because you are giving them a what do you call it now? A trusted results, right? So you are taking practices to ensure that nothing is wrong in your query and that you have done all due diligence, if I may say, right? So subquery in itself most times sorts that issue out in some aspects, right? Because it kind of you can, especially if you subqueries on the DataCamp platform, there's a particular topic I can't remember now, wherein you find out that the query that they gave you, if you actually pay attention to the query they gave you, you can actually run it directly straight and you get the answer. But instead, they made a subquery of it. Why? Because once that subquery is made, you know that anything you are querying, you're not querying your original table anymore. You are querying that subquery. Do you get? It's running against the subquery. It's not just the table directly again. Your subquery is running against your main query is running against the subquery. Do you get? So it's like saying, okay, now I'll give an example. In a where clause, right? I can make a query and then say that my query should be filtered based on a subquery. So I'll give an example. Let's say I want to say that this query we're looking at here, we have count ID, venue ID from events, group by. So if I were to say where, and then I will say where where event venue ID is equal to, then I put select and I start another subquery again, right? So I know that whatever subquery, whatever result I am getting from venue ID in whatever result I'm getting from venue ID in my main query, right? It is coming from the subquery. Do we get that?
I hope I'm still audible. Amazing.
You have
Am
to
I still
repeat this thing that you said so I can type it. I did not get it totally.
okay?
You said where events.
So where event? Yes, yes, yes. I don't know if you can see.
I can hear you.
Okay, yes. So you can say where events, event ID. That would be event ID, not event. Event ID equals
Event ID.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So where event ID equals, so it depends on how we want to do subquery. So we can say where event ID equals, okay, permit me to do this, right? So we can say where event ID in, just change the equals to in, and then open bracket and say select ID. Yes, select ID. Yes. Next line from, so let's choose, please change event ID to venue ID, and then after the from, put venue. Thank you. Change that event ID to venue ID. Yes. Yes. So in the from, write venue. Yes. So what's this? No, your parenthesis that is after the ID in the select statement should come after venue, not covering the ID. I don't know if you get what I said. So where you
Understand.
have in your third line, the parenthesis on the right, yes, that should not be there. It should be after venue.
So you want me
Like,
to put select ID after?
no. Erase that parenthesis, the right parenthesis. Erase it. Yes, that's fine. Now put no, that's fine. That's fine. Now put the right parenthesis after venue in the from venue.
Right.
Yes. So this is an example of a subquery, and it's called an inner subquery, right? What this does is that you are telling your query that venue ID, it is from IDs in the venue table. You get?
Yes.
So that's how a subquery works. Do you get? It's just telling that this is from this in this. Now, okay, I can't see anything anymore. Okay, yes. So by next week we'll explain better. And so by next week, what we do in the first 30 minutes. So please read up or practice up on like is not hold up, please. You can stop sharing your screen because of the battery. Thank you.
We got an
Yes.
error from this code.
Yes, because it's not linked, it's the way it is linked in. Right. So let's see. It's because of the way I know we don't have the venue ID, for example.
Right.
Scroll down. Let me see something. Scroll down. Okay, so if we follow this same process, scroll up, change ID in the select statement in the inner query to venue ID. Just add venue before it. Let's assume that it is the same process it follows because we can't see the venue table. So I'm only making an assumption.
Okay.
Let's run that. Right.
Okay.
Understand?
All
So
right.
that's because yes, so that's because venue ID, the primary key of venue table is venue ID, not ID. I thought it should have been ID. not venue ID because it's already inside the venue table, but then it's its venue ID. So yes, that is that about subquery. Just a small touch about it. So like I said, practice. Please, you can end your screen because of the battery. So practice likes the filtering. We're going to do that within 30 minutes next week. So please, we will have to be on time, and I'm going to go in a bit fast. Right? Any questions can be kept on the what do you call it now, on the chat. Right? So on likes, having is the filter for group by. That would have done this now, but because of the system and where we're taking this approach, can't do that now. So having like null is null. These four clauses I just mentioned, having like null or is not null, then empty string. Those four. So having like null and empty string. So those four clauses, we're going to do that within 30 minutes by next week class. And from there, we'd move on to join. Then, lastly, please communicate with your course rep, Benedict, and we want to show you, make a video or a class of how to install PG admin. So that is having just like data labs on your system. So you don't have to be going online all the time, right? Yes. So Benedict is going to collect your response of when you want that to happen during the week, not the next breakout session, during the week. So it's time during the week. So send in your the preferred day. Yeah, the preferred day is definitely going to be in the evening because of people have things to do, right? So yes, I think that's basically all. Any question? Any question?
Yes, so good evening.
Any question?
Benjamin, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. No.
Hey, I was trying to get the last thing you said, but I couldn't get it. Please, can you just repeat yourself?
Okay, is it about the PG admin?
Yeah, something about the course rep, something.
Oh yes. Okay, so we want to show you how to install let's say the software that will help you run queries on your system without having to go to DataLab all the time. So you have PG admin, right?
Okay, okay.
So
That's
it's
the
going to be done during the week. You get that?
yeah.
Okay, so we want to get a poll from everyone to say, okay, date that's most preferable. Please know that if you send a date and another date has a higher ranking, you'd have to be available for that other date. So you're only sending what is most preferable, not how will I put it now, an ultimatum or something. Just most preferable day to you. Send it, and then we'll take in that response and see how we can make it happen on that day during the coming week, not Saturday, during the coming week.
All right, okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Any other question? Okay, I'll take that there is no question. So let's have a great night and have a wonderful day tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Attendance is on the group chat. Benedict, can you repaste the attendance? Some people can't find it. Thank you, Benedict.
fún mi dẹ̀ lọ kú lójú ńlá láti ó kú láti bátìrì ti lò nǹkan wa múná wá níbẹ̀ yẹn ni àwọn yẹn dẹ̀ kódà láti bẹ̀ parí bóyá wọlé. ẹ ṣàjọ send the class attendance padà ẹjọ́ o. gbogbo ẹ ti lọ Saudi. ọmọ káyọ̀ làwọn ẹgbẹ́ máa fi bẹ́tò sí létí o. ẹni gbọ́dọ̀ máa fi kún tó rà létí. àwọn olówó fèkì ni wọn kọ́ báyìí. Oh yeah. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ọ̀rú èlò kù. Aṣíwájú ọmọ ọba Ìyànà. Olórí ọmọ ọba. Lórí ọmọ ọba Àjẹ̀bú Òde. Kí n tètè kú subhanallah, irọ́ tẹ̀lé ló ń jáde. Láptọ̀pù ti yọ látẹ̀kan ṣá.
Please, do anybody have the link for the attendance? That is what I'm waiting for. I don't know if anybody can assist us with it.
That's what I'm also waiting for. Please, I need attendance. I joined late.
And I told the class rep, he told me that they have posted it. And you know, Google Meets, when you log out and log in back, me, I was on the cuff right from the beginning. But it's like within that attendance period, I log out and log in back, and all the chats deleted. And I'm begging him to come back here to
You
drop
should
the
drop the
notes.
link again. He's still
It's no
online.
longer on
I
the
think
queue. I even chatted him on the Discord channel. He was telling me that he can't repair.
okay, someone has dropped the link. I think you wrote
Mr.
it.
Emmanuel, thank you, Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.